Anything is possible. It started with a dream. Our passion made a difference and built a family. We've grown strong together. You know it's all because...
Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Donna and I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator from the Northern Rivers area in New South Wales, Australia. If you're not sure what a Stampin' Up demonstrator is, we sell all things that you would need for your paper craft needs. So if you're a card maker, a scrapbooker, we have everything that you would need. We have stamps, dies, inks, cardstock, designer series paper, embellishments, tools, absolutely everything you need for your paper crafting habit. So what I wanted to do today is I wanted to show you a super cute card using the prized Peony bundle, which is brand new out of our new catalog. So it's exciting times right now for us as demonstrators. We have a brand new catalog, and for you as a customer. Any of the items that I use can be purchased through my online store, and you will find the information in the show more box down below this video. You'll find the link to my store, you'll find my phone number, you'll find my email address. Any way, any form of contact that you need, all of the contact opportunities are down there in that show more box. So let's get on to crafting and making this beautiful handmade card. Okay, so we have the prized Peony stamp set, and it has these gorgeous dies that go with it. So there is many dies in this set. You can make a 3D peony flower, or you can also make a gorgeous flower just like this one by using a combination of some of our blends. So I've made this one here using our Magenta Madness as the beautiful layer here that has been embossed. It's a bit hard to see in this light, but it has been embossed with the Dainty Diamonds 3D embossing folder. And we have colored using a combination of our blends. We've used our grey granite, we've used our Rococo Rose Light, and we've also used our Magenta Madness Dark blends using this beautiful colored image here. So what I thought I would do is change it up and change the colors and use a different combination of the colors for you this time. So I'm going to pop these things aside, and we're going to use the grey granite, and I'm also going to use another one of our brand new in colors. It's called Misty Moonlight. So this is a beautiful, it's probably like a lighter version of our Night of Navy cardstock, but it's absolutely a beautiful brand new color that we have. And I'm using grey granite. I'm also using basic grey. Now, some of the designer series paper that I'll be using in this is what is called the In Good Taste designer series paper. This paper pack is absolutely beautiful. It has so many stone, brick, tiled images, it has wood plank, and it's a double pack of designer series paper, and it is great value. You get double the amount of designer series paper to what you normally do. And yes, it is a little bit more expensive, but you get so much gorgeous paper that will go with absolutely any bundle that you may be using. So I've got a base here that I have cut at 5 3/4 by 8 inches, and when I fold that in half, that will give us a card front size of 4 inches by 5 3/4 inches. Okay, so we've got the card base size there. Now, I have a scrap of Whisper White here that we're going to use to color our beautiful peony flower. So what I thought I would do is I'll just grab a scrap piece of paper. Now, the reason why I want to grab a scrap piece of paper is when you color with our blends, they're alcohol-based markers, so they can bleed through your cardstock. So you need to have something to protect your surface to make sure that you don't get color on your work surface. Okay, so I'm actually going to bring in the basic grey ink pad here, and I'm going to ink up this gorgeous large flower in our basic grey. So I wanted something a little bit, an outline that was dark, but I don't like to use, when I'm colouring, I don't like to use black. So I tend to use basic grey quite a bit. So I'm going to line that up on this scrap piece of cardstock, and I'm going to press that down. Now it's a large image, so make sure you press it down evenly and make sure you give it time to soak into your cardstock. And you wait until you see this gorgeous peony flower. Look at the detail in that. Now that image just on its own is absolutely stunning. So what I decided to do was use a combination of our blends and actually color this image to give it a little bit more vibrancy. Now, when it comes to craft, people often say to me, there's not many flowers that are blue flowers. And you know what? When it comes to craft, honestly, you can do any color combination that you want because it's crafting after all. All right, so I'm actually going to use a combination. We've got Seaside Spray here, and we've also got our Misty Moonlight, and I've got Grey Granite, and I'll be using a combination of all of these. So I'm going to go over the large flower with my light Seaside Spray. So using the brush tip end, I'm just going to load that flower up with some of this gorgeous Seaside Spray. So when you're using your brush tip end on your blends, you just got to make sure that you have a very light touch because you can damage those ends quite easily. And you can see here that I'm actually doing it on the side of the brush rather than on the point because you can damage the points really, really easily. So make sure you keep your blend on that side and use it. Now, also too, when you're going to color, try not to go too close to that outside edge because you will find that your color will tend to move a little bit on your cardstock. So if you go too close to the edge, it may tend to bleed out over your outline image, and you don't want that to happen. So you just go up a little bit to it, but not quite to the edge. So we've got a layer of our Seaside Spray there. Now I'm going to use the light Misty Moonlight, and I'm just going to go over with my brush tip end where all those darker shaded bits are with my light Misty Moonlight. Now Stampin' Up! Make it easy for us. Now if you aren't sure where you need to do your shading, you just follow where Stampin' Up! Have already put it on that stamped image. You just follow that with your color. And that helps you work out exactly where you need to do your shading. All right. Now the reason why I'm using the light Misty Moonlight, I didn't want this to be too harsh. I wanted it to still stay quite a soft blue image. So I decided to use the light in both instances just to give us a little bit of that shading that we need to have. So just carefully, where, as I said, where they've already done the shading for us with our stamped image, just go over where that shading is and add a little bit of that light Misty Moonlight. Now these are our brand new in colors, and we have blends in all, we have 5 of the in colors. We don't have the blends in all of the colors. The only one that we don't have is the Bumblebee, but we have quite a few yellows. We have our Daffodil Delight, we have our So Saffron, we have our Mango Melody. So Stampin' Up! Felt like there was not really a purpose for adding another yellow into our collection. All right, so I've done that with my light Misty Moonlight. And then what I'm going to do is just with my light, again, my light Seaside Spray, I'm just going to go over where I put those darker bits. And I do like to tend to go over with my pointed end. It's not a ball tip end, but yeah, the pointed end, the more solid end, because it's easier to blend. So what we're doing is we're just blending that where that dark is meeting the light. So you're just going over in small circular motions and just adding some more of that light to blend those in. Now don't be too scared with your blends to add a fair bit of color. the more that you add, the nicer it blends. So if you go over it a few times, it will blend a lot nicer than if you only go over it once. So one of the mistakes that a lot of people make is that they don't blend enough. So make sure you keep layering some of that color. And you can see that the more that I blend, the nicer that image is becoming when you blend over the top of that light and the dark. Okay, so circular motions and just blending that in. All right, we'll do this one here. So just blending where that light is meeting the dark. Okay, so just like that. And we've got a really, really beautiful image there just by doing that. Now I will bring in my color lifter. Now the reason why I use my color lifter, I tend to like to do this because it just adds a little bit more depth into your shading. It makes it look a little bit more obvious. You probably can't see just at the beginning when I first do it, but as the color lifter works its magic, you'll find it will just make your shading so much nicer. Now it's a trick, and all I'm doing is going over where the lighter bits of our Seaside spray are, just going over with that, and it actually just makes that blend even more and gives it a much better shaded look. All right, so we have that. Then I'm going to go through with my grey granite, and I'm going to do all of the leaves with my light grey granite to start off with. So just going to add some light grey granite on all of those. Now it's totally up to you. Some people lay down their dark color first and go over with their light. I tend to like to lay down my light as the base, and then I go in, do my shading, and then finish off blending with the light over the top. But it is totally personal preference, whatever works for you. I'm not saying that my way is the correct way. I'm just saying that that is actually how I do it. So totally up to you how you decide to do that. So we've got the light there laid down onto our leaves. Then I'm going to go through with the, I keep calling it the ball tip end, but the fine tip end. And I'm just going to pop some shading in exactly where that stamp set has showed us the shading. So as I said, Stampin' Up have made it easier for us. So we just go through and add a little bit of shading exactly where you can see that darker shading on the image. And that's going to make it look more lifelike and give us a little bit more dimension to that image. So once again, through the veins of that leaf there. Okay, and then back through again just to blend that with our light. So fine tip end again, blending where the light meets the dark. And that just makes it blend in a little bit better. Much better. Okay, so we've now got a gorgeous, beautiful colored image there. Now, in our dies, we have the die that will actually cut out this image. So you can see here, we have this gorgeous die. So I'll just move those out of the way and I'll bring in the die cut machine, the Big Shot, and we will cut out that image. Okay. So I have my magnetic platform here. And I'll just zoom out just a little bit so that we can see the whole Big Shot machine and make it a little bit easier for you to see. Actually, we'll go to there. Okay, so you can see that a bit clearer. So I'm just using my magnetic platform and I'm going to pop my image down. Now you can see quite easily that you can line this up. Our new dies from Stampin' Up are wonderful that way, that we can see exactly that we've got the image. Now, what you need to do is look at your image and make sure that you have no white spots on any part of your image, and you'll know that you've got it covered really, really well. Pop on that top cutting plate and wind that through. Okay, and we will have our gorgeous peony cut out. Absolutely stunning. So while we actually have the big shot here, I'm going to grab another one of the dies out of this set, which is this gorgeous edge piece here. And I have a piece of our grey granite cardstock that we're going to use for this edge bit. So I'm just going to pop that onto my plate. Now, this will cut out a piece. It cuts out along this top edge, the top edge here. It doesn't cut along this edge. So depending on how far, I'm actually going to be gluing this in behind a layer. So it's totally okay how much I have overhang there. But you'll see that we get this gorgeous, look at that, a beautiful embossed layer edging piece, which is absolutely stunning. Okay, so also while I've got this die cutting machine in here, I'm going to grab my normal base plate and my blue embossing mat, and I'm going to grab the gorgeous Dainty Diamonds embossing folder, and I have a piece of our Misty Moonlight cardstock. So I'm actually going to pop that in there, and we're going to emboss that piece of Misty Moonlight. So once again, popping your fold in, going through the die cutting machine first so you don't break your embossing folder, and I'm going to wind that through. Okay. And we're going to get this gorgeous embossed piece of cardstock. So hopefully you can see that really, really well there. All right, so now I'm going to zoom back out and I'll get rid of that die cutting machine out of the way. And we'll bring in our pieces now and start popping this gorgeous card together. Okay. So we have our gorgeous peony, we have our beautiful embossed layer here. So what you need to do with this embossed layer is just trim the ends. So like so and like so, and you've got that gorgeous piece there. Now, also what goes with this suite is this gorgeous grey granite satin ribbon, which is absolutely gorgeous. So we're going to use that on our card as well. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer these two pieces up, and I'm going to use my liquid Tombow to glue those together. Okay. So just like that. And using our Tombow, we get that wiggle room. So we're able to wiggle it around and make sure that we get a really good border. Now, I have a piece of this gorgeous designer series paper, and I'm going to layer that here onto our card, and then our gorgeous peony is going to sit up on it. I need to trim this back just a tiny little bit so that I can pop my border edge in. So I'm just going to take probably about ½ inch off there, I think. So we'll just trim that a little bit. All right. And then what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to line this up underneath here and just make a gorgeous decorative edge on that piece of designer series paper. So I can use liquid Tombow. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of Tombow along here. So just along the very edge so that we can pop that decorative border into there. And because we've got the liquid Tombow, we can move it around a little bit. So I'm just going to line it up that we've got one scallop ending there and another scallop ending here so that we can trim that perfectly and it will sit really nice. So we're going to trim straight down that scallop like so, and straight down this scallop. And then we've got that gorgeous bordered edge on the side of our beautiful designer series paper. Okay. So the next thing what we're going to do is we're going to glue that one directly down onto that front layer that we've already embossed. So we're going to glue that with our Tombow. We're going to line it up evenly with that Misty Moonlight border. Sorry, layer there. So just like that. And we can make sure we've got it straight. And as I said, it's really good that our liquid Tombow gives us that wiggle room. So we're able to wiggle it around and make sure we get it right in the right spot. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that over and I'm going to grab some of our double-sided tape and we're going to pop our grey granite ribbon around, and we're going to glue the ends into our double-sided tape so all the workings are glued in behind our layer so no one can see where the ribbon ends. So that's the beauty of being able to hide all the workings of your ribbon in behind your layer. So we're just going to line that up on the front, and I want it to just go straight across the edge of that border. So I'm just going to pop that end into my double-sided tape, straighten it, make sure I've got it exactly where I need it, and just pop that end into the double-sided tape at the back as well. So you can see there, you've got your ribbon all nicely placed where we need it to be. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to grab our card base and we're going to layer that up on our card base, which is here. I lost my card base there for a minute. All right, so I'm going to, with some dimensionals, I'm going to pop that up onto some dimensionals on the front. So I'm going to pop quite a few dimensionals around here because we don't want this to sag in the middle. We want it to stay nice and popped up with that 3D effect for our recipient to receive it. Now, if it's going to go through the post, we're going to have to make sure that we definitely have enough dimensionals on the back. And you can buy the dimensionals. They're $6 per pack. You get 300 dimensionals in a pack. So you get 3 sheets and you can use every scrap of your dimensionals, even all around the border of your dimensionals. So you don't waste any part of those dimensionals. So we're going to turn that over and line that up on the front of our card, just like that. Okay, so I've done my Misty Moonlight piece. I've done it at 5 1/4 this way by 3.5 inches, and our basic grey layer that I have that's backing that, I've done it at 5 3/8 by 3 5/8. Okay, that's getting a little bit technical, but that layer, it just gives you a 1/16 of an inch border, which is really, really nice. So I'm now going to turn this one over and I'm going to pop that up onto some dimensionals as well. So I'm going to use large dimensionals where I can, and where it gets a little bit too fine and a bit too hard, I'm going to pop some of my mini dimensionals on. So I'm just going to bring in my mini dimensionals, and with my Take Your Pick tool, I'm just going to pop one there. I'll pop one on that leaf over there and one on this stem down here. Okay, so that's going to keep our flower all nicely popped up on the front. So we'll take those backings off and pop our flower on. Now, one of the things on my beautiful Magenta Madness flower, I actually added some gorgeous Wink of Stella, and I can tell you it all came together. When I added the Wink of Stella, it just turned it from being a beautiful card to spectacular, if I do say so myself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in our Wink of Stella, and where that shading is, where we did the Misty Moonlight, we're now going to go through with our Wink of Stella and go over all of those shaded areas with our Wink of Stella. And that's going to add some gorgeous shimmer and shine to our card. And it's just going to make the whole card look absolutely gorgeous. So, as I said, once again, following where Stampin' Up! Have guided us to go with that shading, we're going to go back through now with that Wink of Stella over all those nice shaded areas. And that's just going to add that beautiful sparkle to our card. All right, I'm also going to go through the leaf area. So where that shading is on that leaf and on the stems, I'm going to add a little bit more Wink of Stella, just where that is. And I'm not sure whether you can see in this light, but it just adds that finishing touch to your flower. So I'll try and see if I can get that in the light, but it gives us a beautiful glimmer and shine. All right. So then what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to stamp our sentiment on a piece of scrap Whisper White. So this is the scrap Whisper White that comes from cutting my layers, when I cut my layers for my card. So I'm going to use the grey granite, and I'm going to ink up this gorgeous sentiment saying love and thanks to a dear friend. Now, hopefully I'm going to get this straight. It's very hard because I'm not over the top of it, but I did. I got it fairly straight, so that's pretty good. All right, so now what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to bring in my triple banner punch, and I'm going to banner the ends of that sentiment layer. Now, if you don't have the triple banner punch, you can quite easily do this just with your scissors. You can snip in and do it with your scissors. But I've got that happening there. Now, I'm a little bit, I feel like it's just a little bit too thick, that border. So I'm going to bring in my handy dandy little baby mini trimmer. And you will notice, yes, I do have the guide taken off, the guard, but that is because I feel like I can get in and do a much closer cut when I don't have that guard on. So I'm just going to cut a little bit off both sides, just to thin that sentiment layer down a little bit. Just going to get rid of that. Okay, so just to thin it down just a little bit, but I just feel that that makes it so much better. It was just that little bit too thick. So I'm actually going to pop that up, just coming through there. So the easiest way to do this, because you're looking at that and you're thinking, where am I going to put the dimensionals on the back of my layer? I find the easiest thing to do is to pop your dimensionals straight onto the front of your card. So I'm going to pop a dimensional right there on that side of the flower. And I'm also going to pop a dimensional on the opposite side of the flower as well. And you'll find then that we can actually just pop our sentiment onto those two dimensionals, and it will go perfectly where we need it to be. And we don't have to worry about whether we've put the dimensionals on the back in the right spot. So can you see that? Super, super easy, super fun. All right, so now what we need to do is, with our grey granite ribbon, we need to add a little bit of a bow down here, because a card is not a card, I don't think, without a bow. So we're going to tie a gorgeous little bow. So making a loop, wrapping our ribbon around, making sure not to twist the ribbon at all. And then we just push that little loop through, and that's how you make your gorgeous bow. And then when you get your bow the size you want, you pull your tails and your two little loops all at the same time. You can even pull your tails down like that, and that actually makes your tails hang down a little bit better. But I find if you pull all four at the same time, you get a really cute bow. So I'm just going to cut that to make our bow. Okay. Now my trick is I like to do double-sided tape to hold my bow on. The only reason I like to do that is with our weather here, I find that the glue dots can tend to not hold the bow in place. When I do the double-sided tape, it holds the bow exactly where I want it to be. So that is what I do. And I straddle my ribbon as well as my cardstock at the front, and then I just pop my bow down into there, and you'll find it will make your bow sit really, really nice. Now I'm going to grab some of these gorgeous embellishments. I can find them here on my desk. Looks like I'm going to open a new pack because I can't find the pack that I already had open, but I'll probably find them straight after I've done my card. It's always the way, isn't it, in your craft room? Finding things that have gone missing. But anyway, we will use these ones. So I'm going to use the putty end of my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to grab some of these gorgeous gems. So we've got some clear ones, we've got some frosted ones, and we've also got some beautiful, I think they're actually like petal pink. So I'm actually going to use just the clear ones. So I'm just going to use my putty end, which it's now stuck to my finger. We'll use that end for the time being. I'm going to pop one up there. I'm going to grab a smaller one with the putty end down there, and another one just in there. All right, so now for the insert, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to stamp our beautiful magnolia, beautiful peony again with our basic grey. I'll grab that scrap piece of paper that I had, and I'm going to stamp the peony down here in the corner, because I like to always bring a little bit of the inside of the card, the front of the card to the inside of the card. So I'm just going to stamp that gorgeous peony down in that bottom corner. And I'm actually not going to color that. I'm just going to leave it that gorgeous basic gray, because I just think that is absolutely stunning. So I'll grab my liquid Tombow again, and I'll pop my Tombow on the back, and we'll layer that to the insert of our card. Okay, and there you have a gorgeous, beautiful misty moonlight and seaside spray version of this card that I designed. So hopefully you enjoyed that video, and please give me the thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel before, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. It's down in the bottom right hand corner, and make sure you turn on that bell notification, because that notifies you every time I go live or every time I upload a video to my YouTube channel. Any of the products that I have used today can be purchased in my online store, and you can go here to donnagray.stampinup.net, or you can call me on my mobile 0421 725015 to place your order over the phone if you're not into jumping onto the internet to order. And I would really appreciate your business. It helps me bring many more of these videos to you in the future. So thank you everyone for watching, and everyone have a wonderful day. Bye for now.
Anything is possible. It started with a dream. Our passion made a difference and built a family. We've grown strong together. You know it's all because everybody plays a part in doing what we love.